I love not minding my own business. I love being nosy. I love not staying in my own lane. Nothing brings me more unadulterated joy than being an uninvited guest in the lives and petty squabbles of strangers. You ever witnessed a couple loudly arguing in an olive garden? The man is on the verge of flipping the table. Tears are welling up in the woman's eyes. I am gleefully munching away on my 34th breadstick. When they advertised unlimited breadsticks, I took it as a personal challenge. Even better if they're technically not yelling, but they're angry at each other, so they lean in and try and whisper in overly intense and passive-aggressive voices, under the false impression that because they're not being overly loud that no one is eavesdropping on their conversation. But little do they know that I've turned my hearing aid up to the max. I could hear a fly fart at this point. If there happens to be a child at the table, even better. Chin up, Timmy. You're gonna be getting 2 Christmases this year. Oh, witnessing personal conflicts in which I have no stakes is so delicious. I just gobble it up. Honestly, what other reason is there to enter a chain restaurant? It's like watching a live telenovela, except everyone involved is diabetic and wearing a who farted shirt. Considering this whole pandemic situation, I've had to get creative. Sometimes I'll witness a couple or 2 friends sitting out on the grass, nibbling on the little sandwiches that they packed in their picnic baskets. I stand by a tree and quietly watch them. It takes them a few minutes for them to notice. They say, "Do you mind?" I respond, "No." They threaten to call the police. I ask them, "Do you know my name?" No. "Do you know what I look like?" Also no. Then good luck trying to identify me. And then I add it onto my growing list of the benefits of wearing a mask. Mother Nature is a fool if she thinks that a virus is going to stop me from being an intrusive creep. Remember, my fellow patriots, where there is a will, there is a way.
Yeah, one more class. One more class.
There are many things that terrify me. Wandering packs of teenage lacrosse players, frat boys that have been let off of their leashes, anyone reading a copy of Infinite Jest. I will never read that book. You hear that, David Foster Wallace? With your 3 names? That's greedy, pick 2. However, of all my fears, there are 2 that I am forced to confront every time I open up the YouTube homepage. That being the images of Jeffree Star and James Charles. Jeffree Star resembles a gay, alien-esque sort of vampire whose witch-like hands are constantly moving his doll hair out of his face. But honestly, that's an aesthetic that I can appreciate and respect. It's who he is as a person that terrifies me. Not since Mel Gibson have I seen someone manage to have a thriving career despite doing the most cancel-worthy things. No, scratch that. Roman Polanski. This man could upload a 30-minute-long vlog where he punts babies across a football field in order to announce his new infanticide palette. And the top comment would say something along the lines of, "Yes, Jeffree, those dumb kids deserved it. Serving Planned Parenthood realness." Followed by an emoji of a woman breaking her neck during a death drop. James Charles, on the other hand, I have no problem with on a personal level. He has posted his fair share of cringe-inducing content. Can you imagine how much ammunition people would have against you if you had achieved fame as a teenager? Every stupid Bruno Mars cover or K-pop choreography video would be just another shame-filled bullet used to shoot you down in the public eye. So I do not have any ill will towards Mr. Charles. Does this stop my fight-or-flight response from activating every single time I scroll by one of his YouTube thumbnails? Absolutely not. I have never had this sort of visceral reaction to any other beauty gurus. Not to Bretman Rock, John McClane, Antonio Garza, Michelle Phan, the other ones. Whatever happened to Miss Phan? Is she still alive? I have this irrational fear that one day I'm going to be walking down a dark alleyway. The reason for me being there is none of your business. And then these 2 highlighter addicts are going to pop out from behind a dumpster and begin pelting me with eyeshadow palettes to the beat of Give Me More by Britney Spears. Finally, after leaving me in a bloody puddle, they both tongue pop and apparate into a cloud of setting powder. They are the primary reason that I refuse to enter Los Angeles County, besides the warrants. I guess the good thing of being terrified by these 2 influencers is that I will most likely never have to interact with them. Thus, I can remain in my little cocoon of comfort and safety, exactly where I like to be. Overcoming one's fears is for the foolish. I would much rather be warm and cozy, wrapped up in a blanket, watching old Michael Jackson music videos in order to create an accurate timeline of his transformation from a little black boy to a white woman. Somebody's gotta do it, especially since the Smithsonian refuses to.
Yeah, one more class. One more class.
Social media is ruining our lives. Oh snap, what a hot take. How am I so brave as to express such a controversial yet true opinion on Al Gore's internet? I have been vocal in the past about my disdain for fetuses throwing it back on camera, as their parents undoubtedly hear Savage by Megan Thee Stallion blasting from their child's bedroom upstairs and think, is this it? Is this what parenthood is? Being forced to listen as your child sells their soul to the TikTok gods and all you can do is keep aggressively scrubbing your casserole dishes? But over the course of these several weeks, I've changed my tune. I no longer wallow in the knowledge that we do not live in a meritocracy and never will. I have instead decided to embrace it. Nay, look forward to its continuing degrading influence on our world. I could have never guessed, even just years ago, the amount of fame that would be bestowed upon children for doing mediocre dances to the soundtrack of Schindler's List or whatever it is that Gen Z has decided to latch themselves onto. I cannot wait to see just how low the bar will go. Just imagine. The desperate clamoring to suck on the teat of viral fame, to, but for a fleeting moment, become a meme that depression-riddled teenagers can chuckle at in between mental breakdowns. Oh yes, these social media trends are gonna make the internet hellscape an even worse place to venture into, and I can't wait to see it. I've given up all hope of things improving online. Instead of trying to salvage what's left of the internet, I am chucking the fire hydrant to the side and walking into the flames, baby. Join me. That's a command, not a request.
Yeah, one more clad. One more clad.
I am a fan of violence, but from a third-party perspective, in a manner common to individuals who have actually personally never experienced violence. It's easy to take this stance on fighting when I'm not the one stuck in the gladiator pit. Instead, I am seated in the emperor's corner, slurping down grapes and being fanned by a child slave that's slowly plotting my own death, looking down and enjoying the gladiators brawling, awaiting the final judgment. What will it be? Thumbs down? Or will he bestow mercy on the poor gentleman? I'm secretly hoping for the former. Either way, I'm not the one suffering. Look at this face. You can tell I've never been hit. Corporal punishment excluded. But that doesn't count. Getting your cheeks reddened by your mother is a rite of passage for an immigrant child. It's how we move up a power level, because if you're already at the belt, that means that you've graduated from the slipper. You should see some of these mothers. Their technique is impeccable. Tiger Woods wishes he had that kind of swing. It is after a set number of these whoopings, the actual number varies depending on the state, that us black and brown kids receive the equivalent of a Girl Scout badge for sustaining an ass beating. One outlined in gold if you manage not to cry. That ruptured blood vessel in your eye from holding in your tears is finally worth it. Now hold on there, Karen. I can already see your unmanicured nails getting ready to dial Child Protective Services. This doesn't constitute as child abuse, because after administering a beating that would put Ike Turner to shame, our mothers would cut up some fruit and slowly slide it towards us before scurrying away to make an international call. So we are still perfectly aware that they still love us. Not to mention that 9 times out of 10, the beatings were completely warranted. Besides this, I have never been hit. I should thank my lucky stars that this is the case. I mean, for heaven's sake, do I look like I can take a hit? Don't answer that. A harsh wind could probably knock me out of my penny loafers. The most use I'd be in a fight is standing on the sidelines and shouting encouragements at whichever fighter I was supporting. And my allegiance changes depending on who's winning. I show no loyalty. You're doing great, Greg. Kick him in the larynx so that he can't breathe. See? I'd yell out suggestions as well. Yet still, I yearn for the experience of getting hit, preferably under unnecessarily dramatic circumstances. However, I do not wish to be struck in merely any fashion. No. I want to be slapped. Backhanded, to be exact. What the kids call a pimp slap. As if I'm a character in a telenovela. That's how I pronounce it, by the way. Yes, I did take a semester of Spanish in college. Thank you for noticing. In my fantasy, a gorgeous wife with flowing brunette locks and a rear end so spectacular that it would make even a priest blush has caught me with her no-good cheating husband. She swings her hand so far back that I can tell that the impact of that slap is going to knock the melanin off of me. Gonna have me walking around looking like I contracted vitiligo. I truly speak with the unbridled arrogance of someone who has actually never been slapped in this fashion. Perhaps my mind would change if this event was to occur. Or perhaps this would awaken something within me. Tap into some sort of repressed desire for pain and violence that I buried for the sake of being able to integrate seamlessly into society without being put on a watch list. If you are interested in administering the slap that I so deeply desire, then please leave your contact information in the comments down below, and I will have my assistant arrange something. Okay, she's not actually my assistant as much as she's just a random woman that I occasionally throw papers and bark orders at. Thank you for watching, and remember, you look great in that shirt. It really brings out your eyes. Don't ask how I know what you're wearing.